thank you for joining us. Tonight we have with us Garth Williams and Wade Robotham. But before I let them introduce themselves, we're just going to say thank you and we appreciate you joining us. And to all the new subscribers, keep doing it. Click the like, comment, and also click that notification bell. All right, gentlemen, go ahead and introduce yourselves. We can start with you, Garth.
Oh, okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Garth Williams, football aficionado, sports and hard news journalist, and now communication specialist. I'm a Liverpool Football Club supporter. I'm not just a fan, like card carrying, money paying member. um, but yeah, but I love football from wherever in the world it's played. So I suppose that's why I'm here today to share some ideas as a Jamaican.
Yes, indeed. All right, now Wade.
Yes, I'm Wade Robotham. I am only here because I'm a friend of Alik. I don't know much about this football thing. I'm just a part of the cult they call Arsenal, which is a masochist organization, and they're involved in some sort of football sport. So I tend to follow that a little bit, you know. So that's why I'm here.
Okay, you're here for the pain.
Here for the pain. Here for the pain. And the topic is Reggae Boyz, no? So I think it's a good segue. You know?
It's going to be a little more groovy, you know what I mean?
Same masochism.
Okay. All right. Tonight, gentlemen, we're here to discuss the Reggae Boyz and the recruitment drive by the JFF and what kind of chances that will give us going into a Gold Cup and the World Cup qualifications. Now, we have seen or heard rumors of, and some have been confirmed, of various English-based players, and also 1 and 2 other spots around Europe where players are in the process of sorting out them citizenship to play for Jamaica. We need to look at a couple factors that might affect us going forward, and we want to hear your opinions. We're going to start with Wade. How do you think this will affect like team chemistry? And secondly, with the RSPL being out of action, how will that affect the local contingent of players?
Well, I'm hoping that most of these English-based players that they're looking at, they're born and bred in the English system. So there's a level of professionalism that is innate. There's also an understanding that this modern day game is about systems and how your characteristics can help, you know, towards the system and how, you know, how to implement it in the system going forward. So I'm hoping that that is what we get from these international based players, really.
Yes, I definitely see that as a pro. You might not be the biggest name, but I think coming through a system where it requires that level of professionalism, I think that will help with the adoption
Definitely
to the new team. But with that being said, I think it's still going to require some time for the team to get that chemistry that is required. Yeah, but I honestly think, yes, it will be a benefit to have professionals, people who come through that professional systems through youth. You know what I mean?
Right.
To know, it would definitely help the coach. And I think the fact that the coach also played in that level of English football, lower league English football, I think it will help him to identify a little bit and them also to identify with him. I'm going to ask God now. God, what you think in terms of that?
The chemistry. I honestly don't think that the team will develop enough team chemistry by the time we get around to the Gold Cup. And for the qualifiers, that doesn't mean that they can't perform well. Mm-hmm. However, I think because you've got this amalgamation of different players, albeit most of them or many of them in a professional setting, having grown up in a foreign country where football is recognized, structured. It contributes significantly to GDP and just general economic growth. there is that bit of regiment that comes with it. But in terms of the guys getting together, getting to know each other, getting to figure things out in training, I think we're going to have some issues there. What it will require is for Tapa et al. To be on top of things and to come with a structured plan. Because if it's one thing these international based players are used to, it is a plan from a coach. It is a plan from a coaching staff. So they know, okay, this is the type of football we want to play. This is the system which we will generally try to use. This is how we act when we're on the ball. This is how we act when we're off the ball. This is how we run when we're off the ball. This is how we close down. You know what I mean? All those kinds of things. So when you have the players coming in a little bit of local, some overseas, then you may find that they'll respond differently to these things. So from the chemistry side, I'm not so optimistic. I think it will build over time, but again, here we are, yet another set of World Cup qualifiers staring us in the face, and we are now trying to pull together a super team, so to speak. It's unfortunate that they I don't want to call them the usual bunch, but some of the regular players who would feature or who have been featured probably over the past 3-4 years had that dispute over salaries, etc. with the JFF. They seem to have settled on something nonetheless. You still see an influx of international based players coming in. So because a lot of those guys kind of knew each other, they knew each other, you know, they were getting to know each other. So I think that will be a challenge, not something that we can't overcome though.
I don't think it's a case of pushing out the old players for new players. I think anybody that's coming in going to have to earn that spot. You know what I mean? Unless there's definitely a vendetta out to get rid of the old players, which I don't.
But how many of those established players played against USA the other day? Not much.
The core team, none.
Yes.
No,
exactly.
No, I wouldn't say none. About 2 or 3.
Right. So that would indicate to me that they're already trying to push most of them out.
No, because that happened during the negotiations. The players refused to play, but from the perspective, from an expectation perspective, going back to the Gold Cup, honestly, I do not see us winning the Gold Cup, but I see us getting to the semifinals. I think we can win, but I think it's too early. I kind of tend to agree with God that the recruitment was kind of late. It's good recruitment, but it's kind of late. I think it should, however, it should be enough to get us through those World Cup qualification, the last hexagon, if we're not complacent. Because
let me jump in.
Yeah, I don't think, and I want to get from you, Garth. Do you think the recruitment was good? Because I don't think I get that from you.
No, not at all. So on the matter of recruitment, just before we get to that matter of recruitment, here we are. I think I just probably kind of hinted at it. We are trudging along to this World Cup qualifier, Qatar next year, right? And we've essentially, for the better part of the last, 2 years, been almost like a rudderless ship, you know? So from a recruitment perspective, there was no plan. I don't think there was an obvious plan.
No.
Because I say this because for me, if it's one thing that is guaranteed, it is going to be salary negotiations. That has to be a massive part of your plan. Also, you need a plan B. What if what we have to offer is not what the players are willing to settle on? Then what would be the next best? You know, we were literally just kind of scrounging around, trying to pull people from here and there to get us to where we are now, right? I don't think, to answer Wade's question, I don't think they are pushing out the old players or the most recent bunch, because they're not technically that old either, you know? It's not like an aging squad. It's not like we've had this bunch together for a long time. Yeah, there have been players who've been coming through, but it's not really been like a one set of players. I don't think they're trying to push them out. I honestly don't believe that. I hope that's not the case. I could be wrong, but I really hope that's not the case. I don't think so.
That would be
I
stupid.
think it's a case of we had they had the USA to take on, right?
And
We've
then
got a Gold Cup to, yes, we have the Gold Cup to look at further down the road. So we need to ensure, the JFF, I should say, needed to ensure that they presented a team, a credible team. And I think it was a credible team. I think the main issue, I mean, I don't want to talk tactics about that 4-1 thumping, but I just want to, I'd rather say that we never had to get 4-1. I don't think 4-1 told the true story of the game. It sounds weird.
It
you know? So with that said, though, heading into the Gold Cup, I agree with you, Alik. I don't see Jamaica winning. And the simple reason, I mean, is just that, for example, the United States, those and Mexico have teams that have essentially been together as a group. The majority of them play in the same league, or at least in the same country. Mexico has a couple of players who are, not a couple, more than a couple, to be honest, but they've got some international based players. But a lot of those guys in that Mexican team have kind of been growing together from under 15, 17, 19. I think these guys would have been in the
Olympics.
For Olympics.
Under 17 Olympics.
Right.
And they perform in all these tournaments.
Exactly. Yeah, they put out very credible performances. So I think I would look for USA and Mexico to figure among that last four. Jamaica among them, it's a possibility. I think it's an outside chance, but not a far outside chance. We have a knack for, I believe, sometime learning on the fly.
Yeah.
And just to being resilient. And I think one thing I'll credit Papa with is that we can put in a sensible enough defensive shift. I think what our issue may be is in the middle of the park and certainly at the top of the park with the finishing. But we might end up lose some game 1-0, or maybe like a 1-1. We pull out a 1-1. But we're not gonna get beat up necessarily. And I think that's probably what was lacking in that US game, that defensive resilience. But it's going to be a little dicey, I think. I don't think we're going to qualify for the World Cup, to be honest.
I think we will. I think we have enough time to get it right. But I'm going to ask you.
Yeah, but you have to, in terms of timing, Ali, remember now, one, let us look at the international football seasons, right? They've pretty much been crammed, right? The English Premier League, for example, wraps up in about less than a month, right? In about 20 odd days. And the fixtures for the new season, which will start in August, is about to be announced as well. It's the same thing in Belgium. It's the same thing in France, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the point I'm making is I don't think we have a lot of time, especially if we've got English-based players, and we do have quite a bit of those at the moment, right? Guys from Swansea and Swindon Town and Milton Keynes and so on, right? So I don't think we have a lot of time, and that's the reason why I don't think we may necessarily go all the way to the World Cup. I think we'll put on a good enough showing.
You know what the funny thing is? Why I say we might. We don't have a lot of time, but there are quite a few people that are competing against us that are in the same boat, that have started that recruitment kind of late and are trying to gel new players. They have probably played a few more games than us because they had to go through the qualification rounds. You know what I mean? But up to now, some of those teams are still recruiting.
But give us some examples.
Just say the teams that I just mentioned.
But I would argue that those teams, though, their whole footballing infrastructure is a better pedigree. So even with the same,
hold on. You hear the teams I just mentioned?
You're talking about Mexico? You said Mexico and USA?
No, I said Curacao.
Okay.
Cuba. Is Montserrat or one of those other Dutch islands?
Okay. Those teams. Okay, sorry.
Doing recruitment out of Europe, out of like Holland. One of the French islands I do it too, I think. Well, them might bring a lot of French born or Dutch born players.
Yeah, Montserrat would be that French country.
Yeah.
Aruba, Curacao, Bonaire. Well, not so much Bonaire, but definitely Aruba and Curacao.
Yes, Aruba, but I don't think Aruba
are
get the
strengthening.
pedigree what Curacao
No,
get.
isn't Curacao
Curacao get
Dutch?
some good players.
I think
Aruba is
Curacao
also Dutch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're neighbors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. In my perspective, I think the players might not be great in terms of English club football, but when you look upon like CONCACAF, they're professionals, and then we have, not everybody is a star or a big player, but we have quite a few of them that are capable, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Okay.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all right. So if we're going to talk man for man, right? I don't think we're short on talent. I genuinely don't think we're short on talent at all.
Yeah.
Whether from the previous bunch or the current crop,
Yeah.
which again is really just
I
months
look at
apart
it
from
as
each
one
other.
team, you know. I don't look at it as
Right.
previous and current. I
Okay.
look at it as one.
No, well, no, and I tell you why I look at it that way, because at the moment, when you really think about it, all right, so there's one pool from which to
Yeah.
pull, but there was a part of that pool that had this issue with the JFF's leadership, particularly around salary negotiations, right?
Mhm.
Then you have another set, which include, by the way, somebody like a Mikel and Antonio from West Ham, right? For whom a salary, yeah, it's good, but them not going wholehearted. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no
Them really
matter.
want to play some international football, you know? So when you have these guys, if we're going to go man for man, yeah, sure. You point out the fact that, okay, Montserrat, a couple of these guys from Aruba and Curacao and so on, Cuba as well, as you mentioned, are in the similar position of now trying to kind of fit the
Yeah.
pieces together.
Yeah.
Right. But then let us not look at those guys. Let us look at the people who would pose the most significant challenge to us moving forward.
I'm going to say something.
Canada.
Hold on. Wait.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something, you know, and a lot of people now will agree with me. But after I see that 4-1,
Yeah.
if Tapa have no sense, USA can get slapped with. Believe me.
Why?
Yeah.
Based on what?
If you watch that match, them a team with 8 debutants should I get at least 7, based off of what them thing there.
Because I thought they progressed the ball.
If Jamaica was
transition,
gelled
especially
even
too.
50% more, they would have scored 2 or 3 more goals.
Yeah.
You understand? If that is the American defense, then in no trouble.
All right. Well, I will agree with you that there are some defensive shortcomings on the US side, but you know what happened? What I picked up in that game was that the USA got a little
overconfident.
I almost said cocky, but yeah, they got a little too confident, a little too arrogant in that game, because you would have realized before them putting the first goal in, right? They had created a number of chances. And I mean, I don't necessarily want us to dissect that game too much, but the point I'm making is they would have gotten themselves into good positions and just did not finish. They got the go-ahead goal, we equalized, all right. But then you just see how after a while how easy it was for them to move the ball around.
Yeah,
we showed good football in fits and starts. But I don't think that US
here's why my judgment is different than yours. I use that match to scout the USA team more than as a judgment of the Jamaican team's capabilities, because I did not consider that team. I don't think the Reggae Boyz played against they didn't play against the Reggae Boyz. They played against a Jamaica Invitational 11. Put it that way. You understand? And if we're going to like judge the performance of the Reggae Boyz, yeah, them get whacked. But 8 man a debut, some little man when I play ball for 6 or 7 months. Coach don't know nobody too tough. You factor all those things in. If them they beat USA, it would be a scandal. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
So with that being said, I use it as more of let me look at the opposition and what them have to offer. And well, I see them have some good qualities. Them have one wing with devastating. They have a devastating left side. You know what I mean? But
And wait
the
until
funny thing
Pulisic
about that
join
left
by the
side
side.
is
Exactly. I was just
Huh?
about to say that too.
what is
When
it?
Pulisic
Yes.
on the side.
And then wait until Pulisic join the team.
Yeah. So, but the funny thing about that same left side is it's devastating going forward. But if you run the ball back down the boy, they're in trouble. Look, if you look back at that match, you understand? If you
Yeah,
go
I
back
get
down
you.
that left side on them, there's no defense there. It's all attack.
But hold on a second. And remember now, you know, coaches plan for their opponents.
Mhm.
Sure, you have your own natural philosophy and you know what you want to do, but
Mhm.
also coaches plan for their opponents. So for
Mhm.
example, it was no secret what was happening with JFF and the
Mm.
players.
Mm.
It was no secret that the coaching staff was really trying to pull rabbits out of hats here,
Mm.
to get a team together, a competitive team, for the US. So just give that some consideration. And I'm not
Mm.
saying the coach would have gone into the game in a bit of a laissez-faire approch. Oh no, but it's
No.
also a friendly.
Yeah.
Remember, there's also a phrase of competitive football. So I don't think the US coach would have picked I wouldn't want to say it's not his best 11,
Strongest
but
team.
yeah, that's not his
Yeah.
strongest team. That's
Yeah.
not his strongest team. I think what he would have used that friendly to do was to go, all right, let's see how we look. You know, there are some things I want you to do.
Mm.
We want to see how we can press those wings.
Mm.
Well, you saw the strength from the left side. We want
Yeah.
to see how we can use our wing backs. You
Mm.
understand me? Give us some overlapping runs, cross
Mm.
some balls into the box. You know, those kinds of things.
Mm.
And not necessarily where was the attacking threat down the left side? Sorry, down that what would have been the US right side come from? You know what I
No,
mean?
because that is the other thing. The player that was playing down there was probably the poorest performer. And to be honest with you, we don't want to dissect the game. But Jamaica's early chance to take the lead came down that left side with a ball that come across the field.
Right.
And,
But
and
and
he
it was
was in
also I want to also say,
one pass and he was in on the keeper coming off
and
the
that
left
was from a
side.
counter too, right? And I
Yes.
want to also put it to Mr. Williams now, right? If the American tactic was to try things out and get crosses in the box, was it Jamaica's tactic now to try and absorb and counter? Because they seem to have been set up on the counter. They countered very well. The transition was very quick. Was that their thing? But it just absorbed too much and ended up in 4-1.
Yeah, man. The man you can jump like a volleyball, them a play.
So remember now, you know, again, you know, based on the personnel that you have available
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the limited knowledge that you would have as a coach, you pick your team and choose your strategy. I
Yeah.
mean, clearly, the only way for Jamaica to have taken on in its state, in that state, the only way Jamaica could have challenged the United States was to absorb some pressure and counter when they get the opportunity. Right? We would not, I don't think the coach would have been able to preach or convince or get the team to perform at a level where we control the game, where we are in possession. Because if we're going to talk about being in possession,
that was definitely not on the cards for that game.
And it couldn't happen either because our passes weren't always sharp.
Yeah.
You know, when we receive the ball, we never always get that nice, clean, good one touch, and then you're ready for look for your next pass, or if you just make it a one-time pass, same time. No, we never have that something there, right? And those are some of the finer things that would be necessary going forward, which is kind of going right back now to that point about chemistry, because if it's one thing that, I mean, you know what a well-oiled football machine looks like. You know, I mean, I can sit here and tell you about what happens when Alison Beckman kicks out a ball or Liverpool try to play the ball from the back. I can tell you who going to get that pass. They know it too, and I'm just a spectator.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's because these guys train at least 3-4 times a week with each other and then play a competitive match. You know what I mean? We won't have that luxury. Mark you, the rest of the team them in the Hex won't have that luxury either. However, there is a difference when you think of a bunch of players kind of moving forward together. You have a little nucleus and then pushing forward.
Yeah. All right, I get your point, 100%. But no, say you don't agree with the recruiting 100%. What you think, Wade? What you think of the recruitment so far? I know you don't go so deep in that yet, but
yeah, but I do like some of the players that I see, you know, like I said earlier, you know, they're professional. That is what I seem to like most about them. They are mature because they're looking to average age is around 25, 26, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, they're all professional, they're all mature, they understand their craft, they seem to know how to take care of their bodies, right? Which I think is critical. And I think a lot of our local guys don't learn that aspect as well. Hopefully they can see that. That is very key. Because to perform at that level at 27 years of age and still be able to counter at full pace for the full 90.
Yeah.
That is a very good characteristic to have. So that brings me hope. And like I said, there's a maturity that I definitely like, especially with, like, we look at a baller like Mr. Lowe there, not an exceptional talent, but what him don't have in amazing skill, him definitely make up in good decision making, right? And using his ability to the best as it can be. He doesn't have the most blistering pace, but him push the ball in directions away from it whilst and still keeping a presence of mind to see what is available. You know, so I don't have a problem. I think they did fairly well, surprisingly well to me too. Because some of them I didn't know until recently, and looking on them, I'm impressed with their stature.
Yeah. I don't think everybody that they recruit will make the team, but I do think there are some starters there. There are some people there that will be on the bench. And I think there are some definitely 1 or 2 names that will improve the team. God, is there any name that stand out to you at all, or is just everybody just?
I got laugh. What about Mr. Pinnock, God? Let's hear your. I'm interested to know what you think about Ethan Pinnock. God, sigh.
No, because all right. So from the perspective of stamina and strength, yes, solid guy, solid. Decision making, I'm not sold. I'm genuinely not sold. Let me tell you my issue with the recruitment is, and I really don't want to single out no player, because you know how people go, people like them player, them like them baller, and I'm going to criticize them, and all of a sudden you become an enemy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I'm not here for that, right?
No, that's good for the algorithm. It's good for the algorithm. Say it anyway.
No, but I play my ball online. You know what I mean? So, I've never coached a football team or anything of the sort. No. So let me tell you what happened. My issue with the recruitment is simply this. It's not even so much the poor recruitment or the issues around recruitment. For me, is just a symptom. The root of it is the absence of a plan.
Yes.
You understand me? I think what the JFF lacked was a clearly articulated, even if they never say it to everybody, but a clearly mapped out, a well thought out strategic approach to qualifying for 2022. It just, for me, it just was not there. And then we end up where we end up and having to do what we've got to do. Jamal Lowe, I love. I will
really
that yeah.
You're more impressed with Lowe than Pinnock?
It's difficult to say that, but yeah, actually.
Really?
I see the look on Wade's face, like, what is that? This is guy on crack.
Because I see
don't know
Pinnock
if
as
it's because
captain
him
material.
score.
That is why I said that, you know. I like how
Um,
level-headed he is, you know.
I
And I
wait,
think
hold on a
it's
second. I don't have a lot to judge Pinnock off, you know.
Mm.
You understand me? So to be fair, I don't have a lot to judge
Right.
Pinnock off. I end up watching a little bit of Low. Swansea play for, don't it?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I end up, and Swansea is in thing there competition to come
To
back
promotion.
up. Right.
And he's
So
going
I
to
end
have
up
to play
catching
against Pinnock.
exactly right, of course. Right.
So,
But I end up seeing a little bit more of Swansea games, to be honest. So I have a little more to judge. I mean, when I saw him obviously against the United States, it was a different thing. But so I think that's probably where my bias come from, to be fair. So
But didn't he, I think he assisted for the goal, no?
Who? Pinnock?
Who Low.
Low scored the goal.
No, man, a low score it, brother.
Oh, okay, right.
Bray
Okay.
assisted the goal.
Right, okay. Right.
Okay.
So yeah, what I'm saying is I've seen more of Low. I like him. I think it's a pretty good find. I watch a bit of West Ham football. I'd love to see Mikel Antonio incorporated into the game. Anthony Grant. Yeah, Anthony Grant is another one from MK Dons, who I get to watch a little bit of too, like when I watch like Sky Sports and thing, you know, who just got his passport, like Swindon, right? Yeah. So I think he just like got his passport today, right? So
yeah.
So he'll be able to feature for the team. But the point I'm making is though, I don't think the JFF had thought this one out completely, or if they did have a strategy, why I not seeing it on display, right? As we head towards this thing here. So we reach a point now where we just try to do the best they can do. You know what I mean? Given the circumstances.
Playing devil's advocate now, God, right? We have COVID, right? But that applies to everybody. So I guess that not voids itself out. But then JFF is faced with the situation with these strikes, right? So even if you had a clear vision of how you wanted a team structure to be, most of the key people that you've already identified, you can't bank on anymore. So maybe structure had gone out the window just based on that. Maybe the plan and the style of football you wanted to play is now up in the air because you don't even know how the recruitment is going to go. So I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
All right, let me rip that point apart.
How about you?
the qualifiers, the friendlies, the Gold Cup, all these things are known in advance. COVID or no COVID, these things are known well in advance. Yeah. Maybe not dates, but approximate periods of time. Yeah. So the strikes, the player strikes, the negotiation, the salary negotiation issues popped up probably about 4 to 6 months ago, which would have been like from last year, October-ish, November, towards the end of the year, down the side there, right? If there was a plan in place, we wouldn't have reached this so in the ball game at all. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
So whatever structure was then gone through the window after these things happened. But if you had something solid in place from before, then you wouldn't have had all of these issues pop up. And you know, think about it now. Think about it. 2018 World Cup lead up, salary issues. 2014 World Cup qualifiers lead up, salary issues. 2010 South Africa, salary issues. 08 in France. No, not 08. 06. That was did France that? I think that was France again. Yeah. Salary issue. It is a recurring decimal. What it says to me is that the JFF has got to go back to the drawing board, the proverbial drawing board, and go, all right, we know say World Cup are gonna come up after this 2026, right? So then let us start putting everything in place, right? And for your reach out to players and whatever, to identify what your issues might be and how you can best address those issues and allay any fears or concerns that the players may have before you get down to the nitty-gritty.
Okay.
I think that is the part of the problem that they need to solve over there.
Okay, definitely. We can see that. We can stay from your side and see that.
Brother, every time.
I want to thank you guys for joining me. It was definitely a productive talk. And we definitely need to sit down and do this again as soon as possible. And hopefully the powers that be can sort out themselves, because I believe that we can do it. I think, like we said before, the Gold Cup might be too early, but the benefit of having the Gold Cup is it's a good amount of games for the players get to know each other, and the coach get to sort out himself. So with that, we just take closing remarks and then we'll shut it down. Start with you, Wade.
Nothing more to say, gentlemen. It was a very good conversation. I'm going to look forward to walking with you guys through this Gold Cup. It's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to learn a lot from the master, Mr. Williams.
Yes,
you know,
definitely.
And I wish him good luck tomorrow. Although I don't think he need it. You know, so that is it.
Yeah, you don't know, from if I have to choose between Liverpool and Man U, we'll go with Pool still.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll go with Pool still. Because Pool
Exactly.
is a proper side. Yeah,
Or you guys.
Yeah, man.
Or it's like, we have a Merseyside boss now.
Yeah. All right, guys. I want to thank the viewers for joining us. And
so on to my closing remarks.
Oh, go on now. You talk so much stuff. Go on.
No, right? No. To be honest with you though, I look forward to the Gold Cup. I look forward to the qualifiers. If for nothing else, it should be a learning experience. And I think the JFF should be ready to take notes. They have made a number of missteps. I think they've done a couple of things right, but they've made a number of missteps. So I think what they should really do now is really push through, learn the most they can, and then apply the learnings for 2026. We're not sure where that World Cup going to be yet, but apply those learnings. As it relates to my club and its Champions League ambitions, well, there's always a 2023 Champions League. So, but thanks, Ali, for the opportunity. Always good to catch up with you. Always good to chat with Wade and things. So to the viewers and subscribers, blessed love.